Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Miss Cherry, and if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today I have a really fun video for you. It's called Questions I've Always Wanted to Ask Tag, and this tag was created by Karen's USA Adventures and also Cindy, aka Disney Queen. They're both amazing Disney YouTubers, and I will leave their channel information down below. Also, for those of you who have seen my Disney swap box for the Secret Santa gift exchange, Karen was my Secret Santa, and I will link that video up above so you can see it. If you haven't already, it was a pretty epic box for sure. Like, it was incredible. So be sure to check her out. Make sure that you're subscribed to both of those ladies. They're really, really awesome. Can you guys believe it's the 22nd day of Vlogmas? Like, how crazy is this? We are 3 days away from Christmas, and honestly, I'm pretty proud of myself. Vlogmas was really challenging. I mean, it's hard to work full-time and then make a video every day and also go to company Christmas parties and take care of life and be a wife and do all these things. It was just it's just been an intense Christmas season. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But yeah, I'm pretty proud of what has been put out in the last few days of Vlogmas. And honestly, what's really crazy is if to put it into perspective. So, okay, there's 25 days. I do on average of 8 videos a month. So basically in just 3.5 weeks, I've put out 3 months worth of content on the channel, which is kind of crazy to think about. Let's go ahead and get into this tag. So this tag starts with the question. It's a mixture of Disney questions and Christmas questions. The first question is, do you own an ugly sweater? Oh, well, let me just show you. I sure do. This is my only ugly Christmas sweater that I own, and it is Cats. And yes, I'm sorry, I'm gonna zoom in here. Look at those 3-dimensional eyes, like they're actually 3D eyes. This was made by a small designer named Pretty Snake. Pretty Snake was the guy that did, I don't know if he still has the brand, but the guy that did Pretty Snake was actually on Project Runway, and this was one of his designs before he got onto Project Runway, and it was sold on Etsy, and I fell in love with it because if you guys don't know, my cat Julian looks exactly like these cats. It's hilarious. So I'm gonna go get Julian. I'll be right back. So I woke Julian from his slumber. He was so relaxed. Oh, and the lights are so bright. I know, buddy. So this is my baby Julian. He's a 12-year-old Kit Kat. He's a good boy. He's got diabetes. He probably thinks I'm gonna put him in a carrier because anytime I close the door to a room, he's like, no. Oh, oh, buddy, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna put you in a crate. Don't even be sad. Oh, he's so grumpy right now. I'm sorry. Poor Julian. Every time he gets into a closed room, he thinks like I'm gonna put him into his crate to take him to the vet, and he's terrified of the vet. So, oh, that was silly. Next question is, what is your favorite Disney Christmas gift? That's really easy. My favorite Disney Christmas gift was literally everything that Karen got me in my box for the gift swap. That was incredible. If I was to choose something that was a gift like that I've had in previous years, there is one thing, and actually I got it for my birthday / Christmas, so let me grab it. This is my Ariel Inesco collection statue, and she's in this like gypsy outfit. She's got this wave crashing behind her, so I'm gonna do kind of a pan so you can see the detail. Look at that mesh, and look at her hair with all the pearls and seashells and flowers. It's immaculate. My mom gave this to me a couple of years ago, and I am in love with it. It survived the earthquake, and it fell from probably 6 feet up, and it did not break. And I do not know how it did not break, but I am so thankful that it did not break. So there is that. This is definitely my favorite Christmas gift or Disney gift that I have received from my family in the past. So I'm going to save this. Next question. What is your favorite resort to visit at Christmas or generally, and why? When I was there during Christmas, we did not stay on Disney property, so I'm just gonna answer this in general, and I have to say my most favorite resort to visit is Art of Animation. And as you guys know, what I just previously showed, I'm a humongous Little Mermaid fan, and they have some statues there. Like, they have Ariel, Daddy, Ursula, then they have the actual Prince Eric statue, which I'll include a picture here. And my goodness, like, it is a Little Mermaid fan's dream to go to that hotel. We stayed in the Little Mermaid room when we were there in April. I slept on the bed, and then I got to look up at Prince Eric in like this art piece. I was like, I was in heaven. If you're a Little Mermaid fan and you haven't stayed at Art of Animation, you are missing out. And the beauty of the whole thing is it's a value resort. So it's super easy to stay at. I mean, it's one of the cheapest hotels that you can stay at. It's a little bit more expensive than like the All Stars, but it is completely worth the money to stay at AOA. A lot of people call it AOA, by the way, Art of Animation. Yeah, love, love, love. But if I was to guess where I would like to visit, it would probably be the Grand Floridian because of all of those gingerbread houses. And actually, I have never been to the Grand Floridian. Never, which is crazy. And you know what? Next time I go, I should stop in because I hear amazing, amazing things about it. And I can't believe I've never been in there before. That's kind of crazy. Anyway, next question. What is your favorite ride and why? Okay, we're gonna have to do it by park for Walt Disney World and Disneyland because I don't know if I can do just an overall general one. Okay, so we're gonna start at Magic Kingdom and Walt Disney World. Magic Kingdom and Walt Disney World, my favorite ride is the People Mover. And that's because it's just a ride that's quiet. It gets you away from the crowds. You can literally put your feet up. If you're riding with two people, you can put your feet up on the opposite bench that is sitting in the People Mover, and it gives you a nice breeze. And we seriously will go get a snack. We'll go up to where People Mover is and ride People Mover and eat snacks. Like, no joke, like that is something that we do every single trip, and it's one of my most favorite memories at Magic Kingdom. So People Mover, no question. Then we're gonna move on to Animal Kingdom. Flight of Passage, the best immersive experience of a ride I've ever had. And Epcot Figment, because it's the silliest ride ever. Only ride that Jessie likes it because it's the only ride that incorporates farts. I like it because I think the ending is absolutely hysterical. I am obsessed with it. So Figment for sure at Epcot, and then at Hollywood Studios, I'm gonna have to give it to the Hollywood Tower of Terror. But close second, and you guys might be surprised by this, Alien Spinning Saucers. I had so much fun on that ride. Usually those rides are the do it for the gram rides, like the teacups, but I had a blast on Alien Swirling Saucers or Spinning Saucers or whatever they call it. It was super duper fun. Hollywood Tower Hotel is just like your typical thrill ride that is just so classic, and that's why I love that particular ride. Now, if we're going to Disneyland, I've got a tie. Disneyland, it's tied between Mr. Toad and Winnie the Pooh. Mr. Toad, it's just so unique and so classic Disney that I just love it. I love that it's still around, and it's super fun to ride. If you haven't ridden it, ride it. It's super silly. And then Winnie the Pooh there is so vibrantly colored. The Heffalump and Woozles area of that particular ride is gorgeous. It's like so intense in comparison to Walt Disney World. It's definitely a better ride. And then moving on to DCA, I have got to give it to Radiator Springs Racers. That ride is so fun. Also a really great immersive experience, and to me it ruined Test Track at Epcot because It's very similar in like when you're riding in the interior of the ride, and I guess the exterior as well. It's a very similar ride. And now when I go and ride Test Track at Epcot, all I can think about is I wish this was Radiator Springs. Like, I'm not into this. So anyway, those are the rides that I choose. You guys will have to let me know how you feel about Test Track in comparison to Radiator Springs, because it makes me wonder if you guys feel the same way, because the first time I rode Radiator Springs, it like ruined Test Track for me. Completely ruined. What is your favorite restaurant and why? Okay, so again, I'm probably gonna do each park just because it's a little bit easier. Disneyland Red Rose Tavern, hands down, no question, my most favorite place to eat, and it is a staple every time I go to Disneyland because they have the most amazing gray stuff ever. It's actually a red velvet cupcake filled with raspberries, and then it's topped with a cookies and cream swirl, like frosting on the top with little Crispies. Beautiful. So good. So good. And also at that restaurant you can get poutine, and it's like, it is some poutine. It is like waffle fries, and then it's roast beef, gravy, cheese curds, pickled onions. Like, it is delightful. And the other thing about that restaurant that I found last time was really, really nice was that they have a real water bottle fill station that is actually a spout that is large enough to put a water bottle underneath. And Disneyland, it's really hard to find places to be able to do that. And so I really like that area for that. I don't know why I'm telling you guys that, but it was just something that it reminded me of it, and I think that the ability to refill your water bottle, especially at Disneyland, is really difficult to come by. DCA, I don't really have a favorite restaurant at DCA. We haven't eaten a lot at DCA. We tend to go over to Disneyland to eat, which is kind of weird. But yeah, we ate at Smoke Jumpers a lot, but there's nothing special about that place, that's for sure. So I don't have an answer for DCA. Magic Kingdom, my answer is Columbia Harbor House. Now, if you guys watch like Adam Hatton's vlogs, he was always raving about Columbia Harbor House. And so we went there a couple of years back, and it became my favorite restaurant in Magic Kingdom. They have a pot pie that is absolutely delicious. I know it may come as a surprise because it's usually hot outside, but I'm telling you, like, get the chicken pot pie. It's delicious and creamy, and they also have green beans as a side dish, and I'm telling you, these green beans, like, put all other food in that restaurant to shame. I don't know why these green beans are so darn good, but they're garlicky and buttery and delicious. So I cannot recommend Columbia Harbor House enough. I will say it is a quick service restaurant, and the other great thing about it too is that it is mobile order. Next I'm going to move on to Epcot, and that restaurant in Epcot is Le Cellier. Jesse and I ate at Le Cellier in October, and it ruined restaurants for me in Epcot because I don't want to eat anywhere else except for Le Cellier. Like, no joke. Like, they have the most amazing Caesar salads, cheddar soup, their steaks are incredible, and their desserts were out of this world. Everyone always talks about Le Cellier's steak, etc. I probably could have actually left their steak. I mean, their steak was incredible, don't get me wrong, but like, I enjoyed the side dishes and the desserts even more than the main course. Like, they have this made from scratch cheddar soup that they serve with pretzel bread, and then they also have this like made from scratch Caesar salad with anchovies, raw egg, homemade dressing. It was delightful. And then for dessert, they had the most amazing like apple crisp, and they served it in like this globe, and they put like a piece of white chocolate over the top of the little glass globe, and they poured caramel over the top of it, and then on top it had like a sour apple ice cream, and the sweetness of the caramel as well as the white chocolate and the apples with the sour apple ice cream was just absolutely delicious. If you get the opportunity to go eat there, eat there. And I will say it's very expensive. I know this, it's very expensive, but you can still order all of this different side dishes and desserts and everything and not order the steak entree. Also, the quick service in front of the Canadian Pavilion, I can't remember what it's called, but it's where you get the caramel popcorn. I heard that they are now serving the cheddar soup in that small kiosk. That's the quick service outside of the front of Le Cellier. So even if you can't get Le Cellier reservations, because you do need ADRs, you need advanced dining reservations, I would try to at least try the cheddar soup in that quick service. It is definitely worth a try. It's so delicious. Anyway, I've gone on about Le Cellier like way too long. Moving on. The next is Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom, hands down, Satu'li Canteen. I love Satu'li Canteen, and one of the biggest reasons why is because they have like bowls that you can get that are like a meat and vegetables, and oh my goodness, it's so delicious. It would be kind of similar to something that we would make at home. Like we make, Jesse's a hunter, and we have a lot of like meat and vegetables like that. We eat that a lot. And so for me, it's like a little bit of home, like it's a little bit of a less bad quote unquote option, because when you're in the parks, you tend to eat a lot of junk. It's a nice refreshing meat and vegetable dish, and I really appreciate that and appreciate the break from all of the bad food. So Satu'li Canteen for that reason. And then Hollywood Studios, for the atmosphere, I will say I love Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater. Their food is terrible. Their food is absolutely awful. So I definitely would not recommend eating there, like eating a lunch there. I know that you can go in and sit in the back where you're not sitting in the cars and get like milkshakes and stuff. That might be a good place to get like a break and have some AC, but I definitely wouldn't waste the money on eating there. It was not good. Maybe that's just my experience. Maybe not. Actually, I've heard a lot of people say the same thing, so I don't really think that it's just my opinion on that one. And then if I'm talking food-wise, Hollywood Brown Derby in Hollywood Studios is some amazing food. Again, it is a very expensive option, but if you have the opportunity, the food is really delightful. We had an amazing waitress there that had been there for like 21 years or something like that, and she was such a sweet person. And we had a really good experience and a really good food, both at the Hollywood Brown Derby. Next question, purse or backpack? Backpack. I will link up above my backpack video where I show you what I keep in my backpack, and I'm actually gonna be updating that video in the month of January, by the way, because I do think that it's time to update it. I am a humongous fan of miniature backpacks. I have a mini Dooney and Bourke backpack that I bought a few years ago. That is my park backpack. I've bought one Loungefly backpack since then, and I just cannot bring myself to take it to Disney with me. So in January, I'm bringing my Dooney and Bourke. It's just something I'm used to. I love it. It's beautiful. It's the sketch print. You guys have probably seen me carrying it around in the parks and the vlogs, but there's just something about that backpack. It's like the perfect size, the perfect print. It's just immaculate. Like, I love that thing. I'm like so terrified that something is going to happen to it because they don't make them anymore. And actually, I really wish the Dooney would actually make another version of that, because that size of backpack is so perfect. Like, they designed it so well. And so maybe someday they're gonna bring it back. Dooney, if you're watching, they're not. But if you're watching, please make us more of these backpacks. They're amazing. Favorite fireworks show? I've discussed this with you guys before in great length. You know what my answer is going to be, and it's going to be Happily Ever After. There is something about that show that just emits some sort of emotion in me, and it pulls at my heartstrings, and Disney did an amazing job creating that show. And I will say, coming up in the next vlog series, we went to dinner at California Grill for our 10-year wedding anniversary, and I was so excited that we were gonna see fireworks from the rooftop of the Contemporary Resort, that during dinner I started thinking about the show and thinking about the part where Moana comes on, and I just started bawling, like inside the California Grill restaurant. And Jesse's like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, I thought about the Moana part and Happily Ever After, and I'm so excited. It was so embarrassing, but I have to say, if it admits that, it kind of, from me even thinking about it, then obviously that's got to be my most favorite fireworks show. You guys will have to let me know if that fireworks show does that to you too. I hope I'm not the only person that just cries like a little baby when they watch that show, because man, I don't know what maybe it's the music. Can we blame it on the music? I don't know. Next question, favorite season to visit the parks? Now this one is kind of complicated because I have a couple of seasons that I really deeply enjoy. One of those happens to be Halloween, which I knew you guys were probably going to know that. The only thing I don't love about Halloween is how hot it can be. It was like record high temperatures when Jesse and I were there in October, which was really unfortunate. Jesse doesn't do well in the heat. It's really supposed to be around, 70 some degrees late October, but it was in the hundreds and or upper 90s, low 100s. And so for us Alaskans, we almost died. So that was an unfortunate part of our last trip. But I absolutely am obsessed with Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, as you guys probably know. And you can meet Lotso, and the parks are just so kind of spooky. I love Disney villains. And so for me, that time in the parks is just really, really special. So I'm a huge, huge fan of going during Halloween. And then if I had to choose a second favorite, or a pretty close second, I would say the month of January. And the reason why, weather is very mild, and Festival of the Arts is a really, really fun event. And I find myself often thinking about it, and I'm really excited to be going back to it this upcoming January. So I would also say January. Question number 9, shoes or sandals? Both. I have Sanuk sandals that I'm absolutely obsessed with. They are the yoga sandals, so they are made of recycled yoga mats, and then they have a cloth top. And actually, I'll insert a picture because I think it might be easier to show, but those are sandals that I can wear for 12 hours straight and never get a blister, ever. It's incredible. So when my feet need a break at Disney, which they often do, I definitely use those sandals. And then I like to take 2 or 3 pairs of shoes. I'm a big fan of Converse, and then I'm also a big fan of, when my feet are really, really tired, I like to wear my Nike Air Max shoes. They're ridiculous looking. They're literally, I feel like the bottoms of them are like 3 inches thick, but that's because they're made of magic inside. They're so comfortable, so soft, and so supportive. And after your feet are so exhausted for so long, like putting those on is like a dream. And then pro tip, I don't know if it's pro tip, that's kind of ambitious of me to say, but one thing that I do that I don't think I've ever shared this with you guys before, I like to bring a brand new pair of nice insoles with me to Disney. And then if my feet are extremely tired, which sometimes happens when you're going, 10 to 14 miles a day, I like to put them in the shoes on one of the last days that we are there, and it really rejuvenates my feet and makes my feet feel so much better. So that may be something that you can try to help with feet fatigue, because that is a real life thing when you go to Disney. That is a real stuff right there. Especially if you go as hard as we do. Like, we are in the parks, like we go rope drop to fireworks, like we are those people. Next question, do you do the Disney dining plan or do you pay as you go? So we pay as we go because we're annual pass holders. So I really kind of wish that they would offer this as something that we could have for as as annual pass holders, because I would really like to try the deluxe dining plan out, because when we went in our October trip, we went to a lot of really fancy restaurants. We went to California Grill, Cellier, we went to Chico, and I think that was it. Yeah, I think we went to 3 fine dining restaurants. Either way, I feel like if we would have had the ability to pay for the deluxe dining plan, or the highest dining plan, which I believe is the deluxe, I feel like we would have saved a significant amount of money. However, we don't have that opportunity since we are annual pass holders. So the next question is favorite Disney pin set. And for me, my favorite Disney pin set is called the Disney Grins collection. And I do not have the entire collection of this. I only have the 2 that apply to my collections of pins, and so that happens to be Sebastian and Dumbo. And as you can tell, these pins are humongous. They are so big. I believe they came out in 2016, but I think that they are so beautifully colored, and the characters are just so large. And there is just something about this pin set that I just really, really, really like. The quality of these pins are absolutely immaculate too. So I'd have to say that the Disney Grin pin set is my favorite. Next question, what do you like to do in the parks, ride or shop? So you guys might find this surprising, but I would much rather ride than shop. Much rather ride than shop. And actually, I'm a very, very fast shopper. It doesn't take me very long to shop, specifically in Disney, and I think that's because we're so limited on the amount of time that we have there that I'm just like, okay, I'm just gonna go through, I'm gonna get everything that I want, I'm gonna send it back to a resort, and I'm gonna keep going. So, with that being said, I love enjoying the rides and being out in the parks and experiencing the parks. And I also do a significant amount of research generally before I go on my trips. So I usually make my own wish list on the Shop Parks app, and that way I have it present and I know exactly what I'm looking for when I go on my trip, and that way I'm not wasting a lot of time shopping. And if I have someone that's going with me, like for instance when we go, Nikki and Terry and I go together, we will share with each other what is on our wish lists. And that way, when we are all there together, we will be on the lookout for each other's items that we really want from the parks. I know that sounds, I don't know, do you guys do that? Sounds kind of intense now that I'm talking about it, but it's really important for us to be able to spend the time in the parks that we need to. And so we try to optimize our time by doing some pre-vacation browsing and shopping. So, it's just what we do. I don't know, guys. You guys are like, you're crazy. Okay, next. What is your favorite restaurant in Disney Springs, or your go-to restaurant in Disney Springs? My go-to restaurant is the Boathouse. Jesse and I love this restaurant. We try to get there every time that we go to Disney World. It is just, there's something about this restaurant. The amphicars are right outside, and the food is delicious. Jesse absolutely loves lobster, and I'm not a huge seafood fan, but I still really enjoy the food there, and their salads are amazing. Like their Caesar salad, delicious. And they have a really nice bar inside, so if you're ever there and you don't have reservations, you can go, their bar is humongous. Like you will easily, or generally speaking, you should be able to get in at the bar there. If you haven't tried it yet, it's definitely worth a try. It is a little bit fancier, so I will say that. It's not your typical, like when you go to Disney Springs, it's not like your T-Rex, or it's not like your Rainforest Cafe, that sort of atmosphere. It's a little bit higher, it's a little bit fancier, I will say. So just to warn you guys a little bit. I know that Karen spoke in her video about the Boathouse and said that she kind of showed up in park clothing and felt a little underdressed, and I will definitely mimic that. If I know we're going to the Boathouse, I'll actually dress up a little bit nicer, so we can feel more comfortable at the Boathouse. I know that's not a requirement, don't get me wrong, like you can totally go in park clothing. It just felt like I needed to be dressed up a little bit more, so just sending that out into the atmosphere there. Favorite ice cream place in the parks? Well, I hate to say this, but I'm not the biggest ice cream person in the parks. I don't love ice cream when it's hot outside. It's just not my jam. But I do enjoy like an icy, and so I will say that right outside of Flight of Passage, I do really enjoy getting the Night Blossom, and that's like sour apple and another type of icy mixed together, and then it's got mango boba in it. I think it might be raspberry. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it is a really delicious icy, and it is like very, very, very refreshing if it's hot outside. So that'll have to do for my ice cream answer, because I really am not like the biggest ice cream person. Okay, favorite park photo. Okay. My most favorite park photo that has ever been taken is Nikki, Terry, and I at the Festival of the Arts. And not only is this picture just really silly, it's a Venus de Milo. And it's where you can go into the picture and be the people inside the picture, be the lady, the naked lady inside of the picture. And we just thought it would be really funny to kind of play off of that. And so I'm gonna insert that here for you guys to see. But I will say, not only was this photo really silly, but the experience that we had was really silly too. Like, there was a guy in front of us with his wife, and they were in the photo and they just did like a standard, like, you know, like, hey, like just smile kind of a photo. And then he's like, okay, yeah, you go ahead, you go on, and like shooed her away. And he like full on got in there and was like, like did like all of these like poses where he was like covering up his parts, and oh my gosh, we were dying laughing. And his wife was just like, where did this come from? It was so funny. Like, I will never forget that experience. Love, love, love this photo and all the memories associated with it. And photos like this are my favorite souvenirs from the parks. We've got so many awesome photos over the last few years where we've upped our trips to Disney, and I'm just so thankful for like PhotoPass photographers and things like that. Like, it's just yeah, it's just really special. And then if I want to share a serious photo, Jesse and my 10-year wedding anniversary was in October, and I shared this on my Instagram account, which I will link my Instagram here. But I want to share this with you guys because I don't think I put it on the channel yet. Emma Ann Photography did a photo shoot with us inside of the parks, and this photo is probably my favorite photo of us that has ever existed, including like our wedding photos. Like, I just feel like it was so magical. So anyway, I just want to share that with you here. And also, I'm gonna link Emma Ann down below. Emma is a sweetheart, and she does such great work. And if you're looking to get photos on Disney property, around Disney property, she's definitely one to talk to. She is absolutely amazing. And also like the sweetest person ever. Like, I want to be her friend. Like, she's such a sweetheart. So anywho, yeah, thanks Emma, you're awesome. Which is your favorite character out of the original Fab Five? So if you were to ask me this when I was 5 years old, I'd be like, Minnie Mouse! However, as an adult, that's definitely changed, and it's changed to Mickey. And the reason why is Mickey is everything Disney to me. I love the concept of hidden Mickeys in the park. He's the main man, and anytime I see or I think of Mickey, I associate him with all of these incredible memories that I have made in my life that are associated with Disney. And so I have to say 100% it's Mickey Mouse. Oh my gosh, that was so fun to answer all of those questions, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna tag a few people, actually. I am going to tag Jessica from OM God Jessica, Jessica Meredith. And I am also gonna tag Mariah at Mariah's Whole New World, And I'm gonna tag Nikki at Seriously Introverted. She's my best friend. If you guys haven't checked out all these ladies' channels, definitely check them out. They're all very, very special people to me, and I will link their channels down below. And guys, that was all for today. Let me know down below your answers to some of these questions. I would love to know more about your experiences that you've had in the parks with these questions. Also, tell me about your ugly Christmas sweater. Oh man, if you like this video, please give it a good old thumbs up. Also, be sure to subscribe. Lots of fun Disney content is coming your way. And it has been super duper fun hanging out with you. And guys, now it's time for another Christmas story. Almost one of the last Christmas stories of the year. I can't believe it. Thank you guys for watching. TTFN. Bye. I hope you enjoyed today's Vlogmas episode. Today's story, maybe my personal favorite, the holiday gift hunt featuring characters from The Little Mermaid. Yes. Ariel and Eric were enjoying a nice walk along the beach when their dog Max ran up to them. He was carrying a waterlogged boot. "Max," Eric cried, "I've been searching for that boot for months." "Burying things and digging them up is his favorite game," Ariel said. The princess smiled. At least now she knew what to give Eric for Christmas. When Ariel and Eric returned to the castle, Carlotta told them it was time for tea. "All ready?" asked Grimsby, checking his pocket watch. Must be broken." Ariel smiled. Now she knew what to get Grimsby too. "Isn't the Christmas tree beautiful?" Ariel remarked. "Carlotta suggested we use red and gold ornaments this year." "Those are my favorite colors, you know," Carlotta replied. The next day, Ariel went to town to look for Christmas gifts. She bought a new pair of boots and a ship in a bottle for Eric, an elegant pocket watch for Grimsby, and a gold and ruby necklace for Carlotta. Max's present was easy. She bought him the biggest bone that she could find. Back at the castle, Ariel was wrapping gifts when she noticed that Max's bone had gone missing. Suddenly, she heard a large chewing noise coming from behind the chair. Max was gnawing happily on the bone that she had just gotten him. "No opening presents early, Max," Ariel scolded. Then, picking up her wrapped presents, she hid them under the bed. On Christmas morning, Ariel went to get her gifts, but there was nothing under the bed. The gifts were missing. "Ariel," Eric called, "it's time for presents." Ariel joined Eric by the tree. "Is it all right if we exchange gifts later?" she asked. "I told my friends I'd meet them on the beach." "Of course," Eric replied. "Come on, everyone. We're going down to the water for a Christmas visit." Flounder, Sebastian, and Scuttle were waiting for Ariel on the beach. Scuttle handed Ariel a small chest. "We thought these whatchamajinglies would come in handy now that you live on the land." Ariel opened the lid and saw the sorts of treasures that she had loved to collect when she was a mermaid. "Thank you," she said. "I love them. They're just wonderful." Just then, Max ran up holding a boot. "Your present," Ariel said to Eric. Now she knew where all the missing gifts were. Max had buried them. "Surprise, everyone," Ariel said. "We're going on a treasure hunt." "Ariel, you're amazing," Eric said. "Only you could turn the holidays into a brand new adventure." Soon, Eric, Carlotta, Max, and Grimsby were digging around the beach. Each time a present was found, Scuttle delivered it to its owner. The treasure hunt was the most fun anyone could remember having on Christmas morning in a very, very long time. "We should have a Christmas treasure hunt every year," Eric told Ariel when all of the gifts were found. Ariel smiled. It had been a day full of surprises, but she learned that sometimes the most unexpected treasures were the best. And I like that one. I hope you guys really enjoyed that story. I did, of course. And I will see you guys tomorrow for another day of Vlogmas. TTFN. Bye!